I welcome you all to EduChem channel. In this video lecture, we will continue chemical kinetics. The subtopic that we are going to discuss pseudo first order reaction. Next, we'll discuss the temperature dependent on the rate of the reaction. Next, we'll explain about the Arrhenius theory. Next, we'll discuss catalyst, how the catalyst is going to affect on the chemical reaction. And the last, we'll discuss about the collision theory. So here is a picture. You can see how the reactant is going to convert it to the product. So there is a two picture. One of the picture shows a greater energy barrier and another picture shows the smaller energy barrier. This is due to the presence of catalyst. So how the catalyst is going to play an important role in the formation of the product. So we are going to learn in detail. So a lot of things we can learn from this lecture. Without a doubt, let's start. So let us discuss pseudo first order reaction. As the name suggests, pseudo first order reaction. So basically the reaction looks like a higher order, but it follows the first order reaction. Okay. Now let us go to in detail. For an elementary chemical reaction, the order is same as molecularity. This particular case when one of the reactant is present in the larger excess amount. Okay. So to explain this concept, let us take the example of hydrolysis of sucrose. So hydrolysis of sucrose. So we know the sucrose formula is C12H22O11. So putting water, so the products are C6H12O6 and this is glucose and fructose C6H12 and O6. Both the cases, the molecular formulas are same, but the structures are different. Now if we'll see that the molecularity of the reaction. So as I can see that one of the part, your sucrose is there, and in the other part that is water is there. So this water is present in the excess amount. So in this reaction, it is very clear that two molecule has participated in the initial form. So we can see that the molecularity that is bimolecular. Whereas if you'll consider the order, so order is first order. As we already discussed, order is calculated experimentally. Hence, it will follow the first order kinetics. For this case, if we consider water is in excess amount and sucrose, so we can write the rate as some constant K concentration of sucrose C12H22O11 to the power 1. So this will be the expression for the reaction. Again, take another example. Hydrolysis of ester. So if we'll consider the ester CH3COO C2H5 and if we are putting water. So water is a solvent which is present in excess amount. If this will break and that will convert it to CH3COOH acetic acid plus C2H5OH ethanol. This one is ethanol. Now, in the both the cases, as one of the component is present in the excess amount. So you see the when one of the component is present in the excess amount, the molecularity of acidic hydrolysis of sucrose and ester is 2, right? You can see here what is the molecularity here. So molecularity is equal to 2. Why? Because in this reaction, two component has participated. That's why the molecularity is 2. But they will follow the first order reaction. In such reaction in which the molecularity is 2, but they confirm 2 of the first order reactions are known as the pseudo first order reaction. So what happens, as this molecularity is 2, but they will follow the first order kinetics or first order reaction. So we can write rate here is equal to K concentration of ester. So this will be the expression. So what is the take home message? The take home message is the molecularity, they may be higher, but they will follow the first order kinetics or reaction. That is known as pseudo first order reaction. Next, let us discuss the effect of temperature on the reaction. So it says temperature of the system has marked effect on the rate of the reaction. So it tells about the temperature has a very effective role in the rate of the reaction. Rate of the reaction increases with the rise in temperature. So how this is possible? Let us consider a reaction A to B. It's going to give the product, right? So if we see the temperature is increases, that means we can see that the molecule present in A and the molecule present in B, they will vibrate more. If they will vibrate more, they will have a greater velocity, and we know that greater velocity, they will lead to more and more collision between A and B. So if they are collide more, that means they will form the product. That's why the temperature has a greater effect in the rate of the reaction. There are certain cases where the reaction does not take part or take place at room temperature, but really occur at higher temperature. So to explain this concept, take the same example. So A and B. So if this A and B in the reactant side, if they do not give the product, so as we increase the temperature, so what will happen? Again, these molecules in present in A and B, they are going to more vibrate. They will have more velocity. That's why they will collide more, and that collision will lead to the formation of the product. But that is not possible at low temperature. Whereas if you increase the temperature, the reaction is possible. Next one, most probable kinetic energy. As we know that kinetic energy is proportional to the velocity square. So as the temperature increases, velocity increases, and the kinetic energy will obviously increase. Here is the graph shows that the fraction of molecules in the y-axis and the kinetic energy. So if you'll see the graph, they will be look like this for a particular gas. But if we'll increase or decrease the temperature, the graph will be shift towards right hand side. So here is a picture to show you the better clarity of the concept. You can see this picture, fraction of the molecules are present on the y-axis, where the kinetic energy in the x-axis. Okay. Now look at this graph. So in this graph, if we'll consider the kinetic energy. So the kinetic energy is some point, let us point x. Now, if we increase the temperature, what will happen? You are going to get another graph. So in this second graph, the kinetic energy has increased to some x dash. So we can say that as we increase the temperature, more and more molecule will have greater kinetic energy. Now let us discuss Arrhenius theory. So basically, what is Arrhenius theory? The theory tells about the relationship between rate constant and temperature. In the later part, we are going to derive the relation between rate constant and temperature. Okay. So now some basic concept about the Arrhenius theory that we must learn so as to clear about the chemical reaction. First one is the threshold energy. So what is threshold energy? For the reaction to take place, the reacting molecule must be collide together, but only those collision in which colliding molecule possess certain minimum energy is called the threshold energy. So now understand this concept from the basics. So here is a graph that will solve relationship between energy and progressing of the reacting phases, or how the reaction is going to progress. So we can say that any molecule or any reaction that takes place. Let's suppose A and B, okay? So A and B is going to give the product. So now we are talking about the amount of energy that is available in the A and B so as to give the product. So look at this graph very carefully. This is the amount of energy that is available for the reacting molecules or A and B, right? We can't say that all the molecules of A and B is going to react because all the molecules do not possess the sufficient amount of energy. So let us take the example, let us take 100 molecules are there of A and B. So 100 molecules of A and B are not going to convert it to the product. So we can say that let's suppose 70% or 70 molecules is going to give the product. That's why we are writing the active mass of A and B. We are only concerned about the molecules which are going to collide in A and B and they will give to the product, okay? So here exothermic reaction is given. So as we know that for exothermic reaction, delta H is equal to negative. So for exothermic reaction, what happens whenever the reactant is present at some amount of energy? So it is going to cross this barrier, energy barrier, and it is going to give the product. So the amount of energy available to this complete reaction, that is known as threshold energy. So this graph, so this is the point and this is the point. So this total amount of energy is available to the reaction. So this is known as threshold energy. So see, the statement says about for the reacting molecule to take part in the reaction, molecule must collide, but only those collision in which colliding molecule possess certain minimum amount of energy. So this is the certain minimum amount of energy posed by A and B. So here we can say that one of the reaction is exothermic, another is the endothermic. Similarly, for endothermic reaction, we know that delta H is positive. So this is the reacting molecules, and this reacting molecule will go to the higher energy barrier. Then after it is going to the form the product. So this is the reactant. R stands for reactant, and here is the product. The threshold energy is the maximum energy available to the reaction. So this is the threshold energy. Now here you can see that why the enthalpy of exothermic reaction is negative, why the enthalpy of endothermic reaction is positive. So one concept is there, delta H is the enthalpy change, that is equal to enthalpy of the product minus enthalpy of the reactant. So if you'll see that what is the enthalpy of the product, this is the enthalpy of the product, right? And enthalpy of the reactant is this graph. So if I'll ask you one question, which enthalpy is more? Obviously reactant is more, right? That's why delta H is negative for exothermic. And if you'll see that enthalpy of the product is much more higher than the enthalpy of the reactant. That's why the enthalpy of endothermic is positive, whereas the enthalpy of exothermic is negative. Now let us understand what is activation energy. It is extra energy which must be possessed by the reactant molecule so that the collision between the reactant molecule is effective and lead to the formation of the product. So what is activation energy? You can simply say that the activation energy is equal to threshold energy minus energy of the reactant species. So as we already told you, threshold energy for exothermic reaction, you can see this graph. So this is the threshold energy minus this is the reacting energy. So if you minus subtract, so the activation energy for this graph is like this up to this point. This is the EA stands for activation energy. So this the amount of energy which is required to formation of the product. So to cross this barrier, all the reacting species must be cross above this energy level. So that amount of energy level from year to year, this is known as activation energy. Similarly, you can say the amount of energy from here to here. So this is the activation energy for endothermic reaction. The other part are given that ETH stands for threshold energy, ER our enthalpy of the reacting species, HP is the enthalpy of the product, and EA stands for activation energy. So generally, just remember which one is the threshold energy, that is from here to here is the threshold energy, and this small part is the activation energy. This is the enthalpy of the reactant, this is the enthalpy of the product. Similarly, enthalpy of the reactant, enthalpy of the product, and activation energy is like this.